Hi everybody, it's Kathy here. We're from Kathy Loves a Scrap, and today my layout is my weekly challenge from Scrapasketch on Facebook, where every Friday a new sketch is revealed for everybody to follow, or you can find new ones at the premium on www.scrapasketch.com. And today I am using sketch number 107, designed by Lisa, and as you can see it is a one photo sketch, and I actually really liked this and volunteered for it. So I'm using a photo of my son on his first raft deployment with the New South Wales rural firefighters back in 2019. So I've chosen a selection of embellishments to match the firefighters here in their bright yellows, and I've used the wood and the bush to be a bit of an inspiration. I'm using this stencil here to create the textured background, and I've gone ahead and I've punched out a whole range of die cuts to build my embellishment clusters along the way. Now I use things that I have lying around, and I've also cut some specifically for this layout. I'm using this piece here to build the tag, which is part of the layout design, and I'm going to use the gum leaves here because of the Australian bush, and also I'm using the strip at the bottom with the quote. I'm going to use leftover from a previous layout of the firefighters here because it ties in nicely with the theme, and I'm going to use that to build the panel down the bottom. I have a wood grain, actually looks rough like a tree bark for my base, and I'm using the yellow, which is the colour of their fire jackets, to frame it. So to get started, I'm going to use some solar paste in the gold, which I'm going to put through on the background. And I use an old credit card to smooth it across. And yes, it's a little bit darker and hard to see at the moment, but it really does stand out and blend nicely with the background because I didn't want it to be overpowered by using white modelling paste. So I've gone with the gold, and that ties in with my die cuts as well. Just clean off the extra bits there, that's important, and then I'll wash those just with warm soapy water to make sure that they're nice and clean. Seal up my solar paste, which is new, thank goodness. I've got some different colours, and you can see here that it's put in a little bit of a rough border along the page, and I'm going to put it to the side to dry, and you can see that all now. And that will take a little while to dry, so put that to the side and I'll continue building the rest. Once again, I'm cutting off my strip at the bottom where Cozy Craft has its logo. I'm using the interior of that cutout to mount my photo, and that's going on the leaf part, which will go across the centre as per the sketch. I'm using some Tim Holtz Distress ink, and this one is called Vintage Linen. I like it. It gives a bit of a soft yellow lift to the layout and ties it in nicely. I'm popping the photo because I want it to be up and off the background and throw some shadow, but also it allows me to tuck in my brackets later on. So I'm going to cut myself a tag out of this index card paper, and I use my scissors to trim off the corner to give it the tag effect, and that's an even tag now, as you can see. Once again, I distress it using that antique linen so that it's got the shadow on there and it's not just flat. I'm going to punch in a hole, and that will be my tag, which I'm going to use behind my photo and as part of the design. And you can see that here on the layout. So I've now got my strip across and my tag done. Now I'm going to do the panel that runs down the page. I'm going to make it exactly 6 across, so that it is like the photo, and I'm going to tear it because if you looked at the sketch, it does look like that it's layered, and I thought I'll just tear it across to give it a little bit of, I know, eye candy. I'm going to cut across the bottom to give it a straight edge so that at the bottom it will fit, and I have used the vintage linen again to give it some lift. I'm just going to layer it first to see which one's needed at the front, which one's needed at the back. And I don't necessarily always ink the darker side because the lighter side will pick it up. And you can see that I'm matching it and laying it out, make sure that I've got enough. Now that I've done that, I can ink it up, ready to go. And the ink dauber is really good. As you can see, I have my ink pad sitting face down. I always put my ink pads face down. That's a trick I learned a long time ago. It makes the ink run to the top and it actually keeps your pads nice and moist without drying out. So I always store them face down. I'm going to put that to the side now because I'm going to start working on the base because it's dry. I've got my yellow frame, and remember I always like to frame my layouts. I'm going to cut off 1/4 of an inch. That's how, as much as I need to take off to just allow the frame to peek out from underneath and give it a bit of a lift and a finish to the page. Using double-sided tape, I like Express It, but sometimes I use other brands if I can't get it. And I'm going to seal it down nice and flat. And you can see that it takes no time if you do one at a time and it comes up flat. So now I'm going to build my page. I have my cross already done. I've torn up my strips for my panel coming down. So I'm just going to layer them up, and this time I'm cheating because I want it to be right, and I put it in the exact spot. I measured it using my photo. I'm going to layer by lifting one at a time and bringing it down so that it fits in there, and I go with the 2 different patterns. I'm now going to put the top part down first, and then I'm going to put in my tag in behind. Bring this down to the bottom, which I also marked using the photo as a guide so that it lined up properly and it was in a straight line from top to bottom, and I'm just going to drag that down to cover it. That tag at the top looks a bit gigantic to me, and you'll see that I adjust it to bring it down so it looks a bit more realistic, not like something from the land of the giants. I'm using the bracket instead of a punched border. I think with the males and the topic that the bracket is a bit more realistic and appropriate for this layout. I use my tacky glue to glue it into place so that I have a embellishment on either side that matches the punched out tag on the sketch. So tacky glue is great because I can move it around a little bit before it actually holds in place finally. So now I have got my embracing brackets to embrace the image and draw the eye to it. I'm now going to build my 2 main embellishment clusters as indicated by the sketch, and I've got the wood there, which is the trees which they were fighting to save in the fires back then. And I've put some cogs because, of course, it's a male, grungy sort of masculine layout. And they're not the same cogs, but they are the same colours, balancing it out that way. And I've put in the pipes which the firefighters use to attach their water hoses to draw out. I'm not too sure about that one at the top, but I come back and I do add one to build the cluster so that it is balanced. I'm just throwing in some extra cogs here and there, and I've used the printable cameras from Scrapasketch, which you can buy at www.scrapasketch.com, and if you use my code Kathy Loves to Scrap 10, you'll receive a 10% discount on any of your purchases. I've put the cameras in to build my clusters, and as you can see, I'm now building a 3rd one in there because 3s are pleasing to the eye and it makes the eye drag across the page to the photo and from corner to corner. Now I'll put that camera up there, but you'll see that I change it because I'm a little not impressed with that one and I want it to all marry. I do go and get the 3rd one, as you can see from the printable sheet, and I fussy cut it out and add it. But I don't actually like that camera there. And you see me fiddling and fussing because I need to get it right. And I've added in my 3 cameras. Now I've got them in place, and I've got 3 clusters happening, 1, 2 and 3, and that allows the eye to drag down. Now I have this strip that was the promotional strip from Close Craft Paper, and it actually has a title inbuilt which I need to go across there, and I'm building that in. That's why it's always good to keep them, because you never know when they're going to fit your page, and this one was perfect for this layout. Finally, I'm just going to do some hand journaling, and this one says Patch at his first raft deployment, where he was very excited. He was out at a place called Brago at the bottom of New South Wales. He was there for a few days helping fight the fires in our worst season, 2019-2020. So he was down enjoying himself, but helping out the community by keeping them safe. I'm also putting in the place at the top here, because that's important for him to remember and others to know where this photo was taken. And that was his raft crew team there. Alright, so I'm just going to add in an arrow just to point to Patch in the photo so that everybody knows who he is. And I've done it from the journaling at the bottom so that it actually indicates that it's him there in the photo, 3rd from the right. He was very proud of himself being part of that team. Then I've gone, as I always do, put a date stamp, and I had to go and search for this one because this is an old one with the older dates on it. And he found the date for me, and I've added it to here. I like my date stamper. It's part of the journaling tools I use. And I use archival ink so that it doesn't bleed. And I add it to the bottom of this layout in the corner, so that in the future people will have a date of reference, because he has had so many deployments since then and so many photos that I need to continue to scrap. Alright, so there's my layout, and you can see it, and it's all coming together following the sketch from Lisa, and you can find that on the Facebook group. Every Friday she reveals a new weekly sketch, and this was my creative team one. Just touching up the date there because it didn't come out as clear as I'd liked it to because of the modelling paste. Alright, so I have my 3 embellishments in the corner. That's cluster number 1. Moving down here with the arrow down to the 2 other clusters at the bottom. And that is my final layout, as you can see, and you draw a thing. Thanks for joining me today. I am part of the Scrapasketch team. Join us at www.scrapasketch.com, and you can find new sketches, printables and stencils. And as you can see, this layout came together lovely. I'm glad I volunteered to do this one. I really enjoyed how it turned out, and I can't wait to see what other people have done. Please like if you like. If not, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, where you'll find all my layouts that I do. And yeah, thanks for watching another video, and I hope something here inspired you.